I freeze in the doorway of Salvatore's, my breath catching in my chest. 14 faces swivel toward me, their expressions illuminated by the restaurant's soft golden lighting. Empty plates are scattered across the pristine white tablecloth, wine glasses sit half-drained, and crumbs from dessert linger on small china dishes, clear evidence that the celebration is already nearing its end. My mother, dressed in her favorite crimson blouse, notices me first and lifts her hand in a casual wave. "Oh, Marin, you finally made it." The surrounding restaurant buzzes with low conversation and clinking silverware, but at our table, an abrupt hush settles. I glance down at my watch. 7:05 p.m. My heartbeat accelerates as confusion slowly transforms into grim realization. "I thought dinner was at 6:30, I say, still hovering awkwardly at the edge of the table, clutching my purse tightly. My legs feel stiff, unwilling to carry me any closer. Dad calmly dabs the corners of his mouth with a linen napkin. "We moved it up to 5. Didn't Mom tell you?" Mother gives a careless shrug, the diamond anniversary bracelet Dad must have gifted her tonight catching and scattering the warm light. "I mentioned it might change. Besides, we didn't really expect you to make it, honey. You're always so busy." Her words strike with the chill of icy water. I had confirmed the time twice today, once before heading to work, and again during lunch when she called specifically to remind me not to be late. "You never mentioned changing the time," I reply quietly, conscious of curious glances from nearby diners. A server approaches with a sympathetic expression, but quickly retreats after sensing the tension. Just this morning, I had rearranged my entire schedule to ensure I'd be here for my parents' 32nd anniversary dinner. Then the Peterson account crisis erupted at 4:15, a shipment mistakenly sent to Tulsa instead of Tampa. As logistics manager, the responsibility fell squarely on me. Still, I had resolved the issue, fought through rush hour traffic, and hurried across town. Like always, responsible, reliable, showing up, the pattern of my life. Bryn, my younger sister, smirks from her seat beside Mother, her cheeks flushed from what appears to be her third glass of wine. "Want my picked-over salad and breadsticks?" she asks sweetly. There might even be a cold meatball left. A ripple of laughter moved around the table. Uncle Ron snorts into his espresso cup. "Now, Bryn," Mother scolds slightly, though there's no real reprimand in her tone. Her attention returns to me as she reaches into her purse. "But since you're here, your timing is actually perfect." She withdraws a folded sheet of paper, its crease sharp and deliberate, and extends it toward me like an offering of reconciliation. I accept it without thinking, and slowly unfold it. The paper trembles in my fingers. A receipt. $1,720.43. "We figured you'd be happy to cover it," Mother says with her familiar pleasant smile, the one that never truly asks, only assumes. "Since you missed the dinner itself." The restaurant suddenly feels suffocatingly warm, the air too heavy to breathe, too enclosed. Memories surge forward. 3 years of mortgage payments after Dad lost his job, covering Bryn's rent while she found herself after college, contributing the down payment for Dad's new car last spring, financing family vacations I rarely even attended. My hands stop trembling. I lift my gaze to meet 14 expectant faces. Family tradition. Marin pays. Marin provides. Marin never complains. With deliberate calm, I tear the receipt in half, then into quarters, then into smaller fragments. The pieces drift onto the table like confetti. Bryn lets out a strained laugh. Looks like our VIP sponsor's having a moment. Uneasy laughter spreads. Cousin Paige whispers to Aunt Louise. Dad's face darkens with rising anger. "Marin," he begins, his voice carrying that familiar warning I've heard since childhood. But something inside me has shifted, something deep and permanent. For years I've tried to purchase their affection, their approval, their acceptance, and still I stand here excluded, valued only for my money. I turn silently and walk toward the exit. My pace quickens as I push through the heavy restaurant doors. Behind me, the laughter fades into stunned quiet. For the first time in my adult life, I don't look back. 20 minutes later, I slam my apartment door hard enough to rattle the framed logistics certificate hanging on the wall. Adrenaline still courses through my body as I drop my purse onto the entry table, kick off my sensible heels, and collapse against the wall. The scene replays endlessly in my mind. 14 faces watching, waiting for me to fulfill my role. Marin the provider, Marin the checkbook. The realization propels me toward my home office. I need proof. I need to see the pattern clearly. In the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet rests a manila folder labeled Family Assistance. Inside, everything is meticulously organized. Receipts arranged by date, bank statements highlighted in yellow, canceled checks in perfect chronological order. The orderliness reflects the logistics manager in me. As I spread the documents across my desk, the full extent of my financial entanglement becomes undeniable. 3 years of mortgage payments, Bryn's expensive downtown apartment while she searched for direction, Dad's new Buick, Mom's dental procedures, holiday gifts, birthday presents, emergency repairs. I grab a legal pad and begin calculating. The numbers rise steadily, each addition tightening the knot in my stomach. When I reach the final total, I physically recoil. $47,382.43, nearly $50,000 in 3 years. The realization hits with crushing force. I rush to the bathroom and barely reach the sink before my lunch comes back up. Kneeling on the cold tile, I wipe my mouth and struggle to steady my breathing. This wasn't about dinner. This wasn't isolated. It was deliberate, systematic. Back at my desk, I examine additional statements. A charge from last February catches my attention. A vacation package to Scottsdale, 4 airline tickets, resort accommodations, golf fees, spa treatments. I have no memory of this trip. Because I wasn't invited, I paid for a family vacation I never even knew about. The betrayal leaves me dizzy. I sink into my chair, the room spinning. All these years I believed I was helping, supporting my family, being the dependable daughter, the responsible sister, the foundation they relied on. But they never saw me as family, only an ATM. I open my retirement account. The balance, $18,452, is pitiful for my age because I've diverted funds to constant family emergencies. My savings account tells the same story. The vacation to Quebec I have planned for 3 years, canceled when Bryn needed car repairs. Your sister really needs this, Mom had said. You can always go next year. Next year never arrives for me.
The consequences stare back in stark numbers. If I continue like this, I'll work until I'm 80. No home, no security, no life of my own. My phone vibrates. A message from Mom. You embarrassed us tonight. Call me when you're ready to apologize. Something inside me crystallizes. A hard resolve settles into place. I log into my online banking and begin making changes. First, I cancel all automatic transfers to my parents. Then I remove Bryn as an authorized user on my backup credit card. Next, I create a spreadsheet titled Financial Independence Plan and set aggressive savings targets. My phone buzzes again. Dad, your mother is very upset. This is no way to treat family. Family. The word feels hollow now. Without hesitation, I block his number. Then Mom's, then Bryn's. One by one, I block every family member who sat at that table watching my humiliation, expecting my payment. Silence fills the apartment. No buzzing phones, no demands. The quiet isn't comforting, but it is absolute. Final. Sitting alone that night, I question whether completely cutting them off is the right decision. Would firm boundaries with limited contact be wiser than total separation? Or is a clean break the only path to healing? The answer remains uncertain. But for the first time in years, the choice belongs solely to me. 2 weeks later, Ava Middleton's name flashes on my phone screen for the 3rd time that week. We haven't spoken since graduating high school 15 years ago, yet she suddenly wants to reconnect. I let the call go to voicemail while organizing bills at my kitchen table. Marin, it's Ava again. Your mom asked me to check on you. Everyone's worried about your situation. Call me back, okay? My situation. Of course. I delete the message and add Ava to my blocked list, the 12th name this month. 2 weeks after leaving Salvatore's, my family's narrative machine is in full motion. According to social media posts, I'm having a nervous breakdown. Uncle Ron claims I'm suffering from female problems. Mom tells her bridge club I'm going through a phase. None mention the $47,000. The doorbell rings. I tense, holding my breath. Through the peephole, I see Mrs. Henshaw from 4B. Relief floods me. Mail mix-up again, she says, handing me an envelope. Inside, the Chase Bank logo stares back. Another letter. I no longer open them immediately. The anxiety they provoke aren't worth it. Last week's notice reported my credit score had dropped 85 points. The week before, a credit limit reduction. I place the envelope atop a growing pile and return to my laptop. The spreadsheet documenting every dollar I've given my family glows on the screen. Date, amount, supposed purpose, actual use, whether I was thanked. The final column remains mostly blank. The largest entry catches my eye. $8,700 for Dad's emergency dental work, coinciding suspiciously with his new golf clubs. Below it, 22 separate rent payments for Bren while she gets back on her feet. 3 years of getting back on her feet. A calendar reminder appears. Family Labor Day picnic. Attendance mandatory, expensive dish expected. Last year I brought a honey-baked ham, 3 sides, and 2 desserts. Bren brought paper plates and took home the leftovers. I delete the reminder. Another knock startles me. This time I don't check the peephole. I open the door abruptly, ready to snap at Mrs. Henshaw. Instead, Theo Ramsey stands there, holding a paper bag from Antonio's and a book tucked under his arm. Bad time? He asks gently. Theo and I met in college. Now a corporate attorney with a corner office, he still drives his battered Volvo and wears faded band shirts on weekends. He knows everything, the only person I've told. Sorry, I say, stepping aside. Thought you were someone else. Your sister? Could have been any of them. He sets the takeout on the counter beside my pile of unopened mail. That legal thriller you wanted. And dinner. Sometimes silence is better shared. For the first time in weeks, I feel a small smile form. We ate pasta together, carefully avoiding the subject of my family while he describes his latest case. He doesn't question my unopened mail or the calls I ignore. His quiet presence eases something tight inside me. Later, I laugh at his story about a witness arriving in court wearing pajama pants. The sound feels unfamiliar, rusty. 3 months pass this way. I decline 4 family invitations, block 17 more numbers, and expand my spreadsheet with reconstructed financial history. Then one Tuesday morning in October, my phone rings from an unfamiliar number. I nearly ignore it, but the area code matches Chase Bank. Miss Beckett, this is Diane Reynolds from Chase Bank's fraud department. Do you have a moment to discuss some potentially unauthorized activity on your account? My stomach drops. What account? The Chase Sapphire Reserve card opened in your name 6 months ago. We've noticed concerning charges and wanted verification. I don't have a Chase Sapphire card, I interrupt calmly. A pause follows. According to our records, the card was opened using your social security number. The current balance is $18,900. The room tilts slightly, yet an unexpected calm settles over me. That's identity theft, I say quietly. I never authorized that card. As Diane explains the investigation process, I search my email. No notifications from Chase. I ask where the statements were sent. Paperless billing is directed to bjbeckett94@gmail.com. Bryn Jean Beckett, born 1994. And the mailing address? My parents' home. When the call ends, I sit motionless at my kitchen table. The realization crystallizes. This was never about money. It was about respect. About autonomy. About whether I had the right to say no. I call Theo immediately. I need your help, I say when he answers. No preamble, no apology for calling during work hours. What's happened? His voice shifts instantly from casual to professional. I explain the situation in clear, concise sentences, my voice growing stronger with each detail. When I finish, he doesn't question whether I might be overreacting or suggest I talk to my family first, unlike what my family would have done. I'll be there in 30 minutes with the paperwork, he says. This is identity theft, Marin. It's a federal crime. For the next week, Theo and I compile evidence. The credit card application linked to Bryn's email. Shipping addresses for purchases sent to my parents' house. The suspicious timing. The card opened 2 days after I walked out of Salvatore's Primes. The Chase Fraud Department flags patterns that match known family fraud cases. Same billing address as the victim's relatives. Gradual spending increases. Luxury purchases mixed with everyday items to avoid triggering alerts. By Friday, we have everything we need. A comprehensive file documenting each fraudulent charge. Copies of the credit application and a draft police report ready to file. I close my laptop and look at Theo. I'm ready. For the first time in months, I get in my car and enter my parents' address into the GPS.
As I drive across town, my hands steady on the wheel, I realize I'm no longer afraid of what comes next. They wanted access to my money without limits. Instead, they're about to learn about consequences. 30 minutes later, my knuckles turn white around the steering wheel as I pull into my parents' driveway. The familiar red brick colonial looks smaller somehow. Weeks of distance has changed my perspective on more than just the house. Beside me, Theo arranges the paperwork in a leather portfolio. Remember, stay calm and stick to facts. They'll try to make this emotional. I nod, swallowing hard against the tightness in my throat. The manila folder on my lap contains printouts from Chase's fraud department, account statements, transaction records, and the smoking gun, a credit application with my forged signature. My heart pounds against my ribs, but my hands have stopped shaking. The front door opens before we reach the porch. Mother stands in the doorway, arms crossed over her floral blouse. Her forced smile falters when she notices Theo. Marin, honey, we weren't expecting visitors. Her eyes start between us. Who's your friend? This is Theo Ramsey. He's an attorney. I keep my voice level. We need to talk, all of us. Dad appears behind her, wiping his hands on a dish towel. About what exactly? Identity theft and credit card fraud. Their expressions shift in tandem. Surprise, confusion, then practiced innocence. Dad ushers us into the living room, where Bryn sprawls on the sofa, scrolling through her phone. She glances up, rolling her eyes when she sees me. The prodigal daughter returns, she mutters. I sit across from them, placing the folder on the coffee table. Theo remains standing, his presence a silent fortress at my back. Last month, someone opened a credit card in my name. I slide the account statements toward them. The card was sent to this address and linked to Bryn's email. It currently has an unpaid balance of $18,900. Mother laughs nervously. There must be some mistake.
No mistake. I open the folder wider, revealing the transaction history, opened 2 days after the dinner incident. She flushes red, eyes darting to our parents. Dad leaned forward to examine the documents, his confident smile fading as he flips through the pages. You never used to worry about money, he says finally. What happened to family helping family? This isn't help, it's theft. Mother reaches for my hand. I pull back before she can touch me. Sweetie, we thought you wouldn't mind, she whispers. After that scene at Salvatore's, we figured you needed time to cool off, and we did need a few things. $18,000 worth of things? My voice rises despite my best efforts. Dad's face hardens. You have a good job, you can handle it. Maybe this will teach you not to walk out on family. The admission hangs in the air between us. I reach slowly into my pocket, stop the recording app on my phone, and place it on the table. Dad's eyes widen as understanding dawns. You just admitted to knowingly committing fraud. Theo speaks for the first time, his tone professionally detached. That's a federal crime with potential prison time. Bryn launches to her feet. You can't be serious. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other, I say quietly. Silence stretches between us, taut as a wire. When my father essentially admitted to identity theft, I had to decide whether to give them one last chance to make things right, or proceed immediately with legal action. Family ties run deep, but so does this betrayal. What would be your next move in this moment? The question hangs in my mind as I watch their faces. Mother's pleading eyes, Dad's clenched jaw, Bryn's panicked expression. 3 people who share my blood but treat me like an ATM. Here's what happens next, I tell them, my voice steady. Theo has prepared a formal demand letter. He removes a document from his portfolio and places it beside the credit statements. This letter requires full repayment of the fraudulent charges within 45 days, he explains. It outlines the potential criminal charges for identity theft and the civil lawsuit for damages we're prepared to file if payment isn't received. Mother gasps. You would sue your own parents? You would steal from your own daughter? I counter. Dad snatches the letter, scanning it with growing alarm. This is ridiculous. We can't come up with this kind of money in 45 days. You came up with ways to spend it in less time than that. The facade crumbles completely then. Mother begins to cry, mascara tracking down her cheeks. Dad's face flushes dark red. We're your family, he growls. You don't threaten family. And you don't rob family, I reply, standing. 45 days. Over the next week, the messages pour in, voicemails from Mother, alternating between tearful pleas and cutting accusations. Text messages from Bryn claiming I'm destroying their lives. Dad sends a single email with the subject line, "You'll regret this." Uncle Ron calls me to tell me I'm breaking my mother's heart. Cousin Paige suggests I need therapy for my obvious issues with family loyalty. Each message more desperate than the last. A week later, Mother's latest text glows on my phone screen. You're ruining this family over a little money. Is that really what you want your legacy to be? I show it to Theo over coffee at my kitchen table. 38 days remain until the deadline. They're panicking, he says. That's good. It means they know you're serious. I stare out the window at the spring rain pattering against the glass. Do you think they'll actually pay? He considers this, stirring his coffee thoughtfully. They will if they believe the alternative is worse. I nod, feeling strangely hollow. The anger that's carried me through that confrontation has ebbed, leaving behind a cold clarity. This isn't about money anymore. It never was. What if they don't? I ask. Then we follow through, Theo says simply. And you finally stop being the family credit union. The rain beats harder against the window, washing everything clean. A month later, while I am still waiting for my family to return money, Mother appears in the doorway of my office like an apparition. Her crimson os, the same one from that anniversary dinner 3 months ago, stands out against the beige walls of Marshall Logistics. My coworkers glance up with curious expressions as she makes her way toward my desk, her eyes already glistening with strategic tears. Marin? She whispers loud enough for nearby colleagues to hear. We need to talk, honey. I continue typing my email, fingers steady on the keyboard. I'm working, Mother. She clutches her purse against her chest, the diamond anniversary bracelet catching the fluorescent light. It's about family loyalty, she says, voice trembling. Your grandparents would be rolling in their graves if they knew what you're doing to us. The familiar guilt tactic slides off me like rain on waxed canvas. I save my document, lock my computer screen, and stand. Let's talk outside. In the parking lot, away from prying eyes, Mother ships tactics. Her tears vanish, replaced by cold calculation. I've already told Aunt Louise about your breakdown, she announces.
By next week, everyone in the family will know you're destroying us financially. Is that what you want? To be the villain at every gathering for the rest of your life? I unlock my car, retrieve a manila folder, and hand it to her. Open it. Inside lies the draft police report Theo prepared, complete with transaction records, account numbers, and sworn statements from the fraud department at Chase. Every detail of the credit card they opened in my name documented in black and white. I'm not the one who committed a federal crime, I say, my voice steady as a surgeon's hand. You have 72 hours left before this becomes official. The clock started ticking the moment you walked into my workplace. Mother's face drains of color. You wouldn't dare. I already did. I take the folder back. 3 days, Mother. That's all you have left. She opens her mouth, closes it, then hurries to her car without another word. For the next 3 days, I check my accounts hourly.
Dad calls 17 times. I send each one to voicemail. Bryn texts accusations about loyalty and family responsibility. I read them without responding. On day 43 of our 45-day deadline, the notification appears on my phone while I'm eating lunch at my desk. A Venmo transfer from Richard Beckett, $18,900. The message field contains 4 words. This should end it. Not an apology, not an acknowledgement, a dismissal. My phone immediately lights up with texts from Bryn. Thanks a lot. Dad had to cash out his retirement account early. You happy now? I can't even qualify for a car loan because of your little temper tantrum. Hope you enjoy your blood money. I set down my sandwich and open my laptop. With calm, deliberate keystrokes, I log into my Chase account and pay off the fraudulent card in full. Then I call the customer service line and request the account be permanently closed. I'd also like documentation that this was reported as fraud. I tell the representative, and confirmation that it won't appear on my credit report. When that's complete, I draft a single email addressed to Mother, Dad, and Bryn. I have paid the fraudulent debt in full and closed the account. I have also prepared legal documentation of your actions, which has been placed in secure storage with my attorney. This documentation will remain private unless you attempt to contact me again or open any accounts in my name. Our business is concluded. I sign it simply, Marin. Then I block their email addresses one by one. 2 weeks pass in blessed silence. Through mutual friends, I hear rumors that Bryn has taken 2 part-time jobs at the mall. Dad has started fishing again, something he claimed he couldn't afford when asking for money last summer. Mother tells relatives I'm having emotional problems and have abandoned the family during a difficult time. Let them talk. The truth sits in my bank account, in my credit report, in the stack of documents Theo helped me prepare. The elegant cream envelope arrives in Tuesday's mail. I recognize Cousin Paige's handwriting immediately, the sloping letters formed in careful calligraphy. Inside, gold-embossed lettering announces her wedding next month at Lakeside Gardens. The entire family will be there. I hold the invitation to the light, feeling its weight, its expectation. The RSVP card waits for my decision. The old Marin would have marked attending without hesitation, would have bought an expensive gift, would have stood awkwardly in the corner while everyone whispered about her. I set the invitation on my kitchen counter and pour a glass of wine. The choice before me feels monumental, yet surprisingly easy. For the first time in my life, I understand that some invitations are better left unanswered. The RSVP card sits untouched as evening falls, bathed in golden light from my kitchen window, a relic from a life I no longer recognize as mine. My apartment feels different now. Sunlight streams through windows no longer hidden behind heavy burgundy drapes, but framed with light linen curtains that billow gently in the spring breeze. 6 months have passed since I walked out of Salvatore's S, and the world hasn't ended. Quite the opposite. I check my bank statement, a ritual that once filled me with dread. The numbers align now, predictable and comforting. My savings account shows a healthy balance, enough for a down payment on a small home if I wanted. The Montreal trip brochure sits on my coffee table, no longer a fantasy, but a scheduled reality for next month. First-time homebuyers often overlook property tax implications. I tell Zoe, a young accountant I've been mentoring. We sit in a coffee shop downtown, her notebook filled with questions about financial boundaries. Learning to say no saved my retirement fund. It might save your sanity too. She nods, scribbling frantically. But what if they make you feel guilty? That feeling belongs to them, not you, I answer, surprised by how easily the words come now. Later that evening at Harold and Jean's dinner party, someone brings up my parents. Weren't their anniversaries always at Salvatore's? Are you invited at the celebration this year? The table goes quiet. These friends know something changed, but not the details. 6 months ago, this question would have sent me spiraling, searching for an acceptable lie. We have different views on family obligations, I say simply, buttering a dinner roll. The seared scallops are excellent tonight, Jean. No trembling hands, no racing heart, just a fact, stated without shame or guilt. Conversations swirl around me, and I participate fully, present in a way I never could be when constantly calculating what my family might need next. The following Saturday, Theo arrives carrying a bottle of sparkling cider. Lisa and Devin, friends who stood by me through everything, bring homemade pasta and chocolate cake. My small dining table feels just right for the 4 of us. To chosen family, Theo raises his glass, his eyes meeting mine briefly. And healthy boundaries, Lisa adds with a knowing smile. We clink glasses and eat until our sides ache from laughing at Devin's workplace stories. Nobody asks for money, nobody makes me feel small. The evening ends without a single moment of anxiety. That evening, I pull up the application for the Senior Operations Director position at work. The job description feels like it was written for me. I complete the form methodically, attaching my updated resume. After submitting it, I browse listings for starter homes in neighborhoods I've always admired. My phone chimes with an email notification from my mother. The subject line reads, "Family responsibility, please read." I hover my finger over it for a moment, remembering the weight of those words. Then I delete it without opening it. No anger, no guilt, just a quiet certainty. As I close my laptop that evening, I wonder if there's ever a point where family reconciliation becomes possible after such a fundamental breach of trust, or if some relationships are healthier when viewed through the rearview mirror. What would you do? Attempt reconciliation someday, or keep driving forward without looking back?